Relationships, conflict, practical tips for unlearning mind reading. What is mind reading? It is when one person thinks she knows how the other person will respond. It usually starts gradually and after years of practice becomes an ingrained habit. To break the habit takes paying attention to the triggers and making a conscious decision to respond differently. Mary and Doug had long-standing communication difficulties which frequently culminated in frustrating interactions. Recently, Doug sold a sailboat that had caused a lot of stress in their marriage. Although Doug had said this was their boat, Mary saw it as having been his boat. She felt her input had not been taken into consideration when they bought it, and the whole sailing experience had never been fun for her. Now Doug said that the new boat would be their boat and he wanted to know what kind of boat Mary wanted. Whenever Mary verbalized what she wanted in a boat, Doug would ask questions. When Doug questioned her, Mary found herself reverting to mind reading. In her mind, she was convinced that he only gave lip service to wanting her input, he was controlling the outcome, and she knew that he really didn't care as to what she thought. This time though, Mary tried to respond differently by keeping in mind tips she had learned. Tip 1: Be in the present. This was very hard for Mary because her habit was to think that she knew from the past what would happen. Pulling herself back into the present, she responded from the premise that perhaps Doug was truly asking for information. Tip 2: Stay in your own head. Mary realized that in the past she would have been so busy thinking of what Doug would want to hear from her and how he would respond that she would become defensive. This time she mentally calmed her anxiety, tried to stay in the present, and gave him reasons as to why she thought the way she did. Mary knew that in all likelihood it would take them a while before they would come up with a decision as to which sailboat would be right for them and fit their budget. Tip 3: Think also in terms of WE. When Mary accepted the fact that it mattered to her what boat they got, she started thinking in terms of what kind of sailboat would work for us. She dealt with Doug more as an equal partner and she expected him to include her wishes. When Mary's attitude was different, it was Doug who didn't quite know how to respond to her. Tip 4: Change is not a quick fix. It takes thought and self-awareness to change habitual ways of responding. Mary and Doug's struggle to come to an agreement a new sailboat brings to the forefront how valuable it is for both of them to stay in the present, stay in their own head, and think in terms of we.